Hi guys, welcome. Today I'm kind of feeling inspired by 1980s makeup. I don't do a whole lot of editorial style looks. I normally do everyday wear, but with nothing to do today, I figured why not play around a little bit. So I'm gonna get started using a new primer, and it's the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. Go in with my Morphe sponge and put this on this way. I find with some of these it works better if you go in with a sponge and kind of stamp it into the skin. I tried this on the back of my hand and I loved it. It really did kind of mask my lines and fill them in a bit, so I like that. I'm only going to use this in the problem areas that I have with lots of pores and in my smile lines. Okay. And then I'm going to go in with my regular everyday primer to prime the rest of my face, which is the MAC Prep and Prime Natural Radiance Base. I only use about 1.5 pumps, and that covers the rest of the face. I'm kind of dry, so I don't want to put the Magic Perfecting Base everywhere due to that dryness. I need a little hydration. So after I get everywhere that I didn't get with the other one, I'm gonna let that sink in for just a minute. And go ahead and prime my eye as well, because I will be putting concealer over it. Alright, so I like the Urban Decay Anti-Age. I'm a little bit older, so I feel like I need just a little bit more. Sometimes I'll apply this with a brush, sometimes with my finger. It just feels, it's just on how I feel during the day. So now that that is on, I'll let that sit for a second. And then I like to use the MAC Painterly Paint Pot, which is what I'll be using on my eyelids today. And I do use that with a brush. Next, I'm going to go in with my foundation. I'm using the Bare Minerals Bare Pro in Light Natural 09. Shake that up just a little bit. Just about 2 pumps should do for my entire face. And then I'm going to go in with my Morphe E6 and just start putting that on. I like the coverage this gives. But it's also not super mattifying. But it gives me just what I'm looking for. Okay, so while I was away, I went ahead and finished putting on my foundation. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on some concealer, Tarte Shape Tape, just under the eyes, just a little, because that area is going to be colored today. And with this, I like to use my other Morphe sponge. So I just applied the Shape Tape under my eyes. Okay. And then from there, I'm gonna use my Dermablend Loose Setting Powder and just bake my under eye area. I really like this edged sponge by Morphe because it really lets you get up in there and get everything. Alright, so now that I'm done with that, I'll let that sit for a few moments. And then I'm going to go in with my MAC Fix Plus. I meant MAC Painterly Paint Pot. And just looking for my brush that I normally use. Just gonna use just a Morphe brush. Doesn't have a name on it. Came in a set my husband bought for me. I'm gonna get that all through here. Gonna exaggerate it just a little. Okay, now that that is on, I'm going to set that, and I'm going to use my Crown Brush SSO12, which is a crease brush. It's a fluffy brush. And I'm going to take my Jeffree Star China White. This is the Beauty Killer palette. And I'm just going to go in and set that paint pot. There is a little fallout in these, but it's not terrible, and it's livable. Okay, then I'm going to take my Morphe E43, and I'm going to start in with my Makeup Artist Forever. These are the colors, and this is what the outside looks like. So I'm going to go in with these blues here. I'm going to start with the brightest blue and just kind of lay out where I want this whole look to kind of fan out to. This brush is awesome for this. And this is where I want it to go. All right, then I'm going to go in with the Crown C321 bullet crease brush and just start filling this area in. And just kind of following the line around and up. I'm gonna go back in with the Morphe E43 and kind of work out that edge a little bit. That is one side down. I'm gonna go off camera and do the other side and I'll be right back. Okay, so both sides are finished with the bright blue. From there, I'm gonna go in and I'm going to use another little brush. I'm gonna use the Morphe M578. And I'm gonna go in again to the Jeffree Star Beauty Killer, and I'm gonna go with Expensive. And let's see here. This one has a little more fallout because it is it's got some glitter in it. And it is a little bit different color of blue. It's more like a blue-green. And as you can see, it has fallout. So I'm pretty blue at this point. I'm gonna go ahead and take my Morphe E41 and just brush off the powder from baking and also any little leftovers of the blue. And need some more precision, so I'm just gonna go in with one of my Eco Tools brushes. As you can see, it's here, but that's okay. We're gonna bring this down anyway into this area. And we're gonna do that again with the Morphe M578. Kind of bring it back up into the top there, into my crease. Okay. Now the 80s had some really cool editorial style makeup, which I grew up in the 80s. And I really remember the late 80s more than I do the early 80s. But they had some really cool, some of the best female rockers of the time wore some really cool makeup all the time. So I've looked at some of their old pictures and kind of got some inspiration. I'm talking Cyndi Lauper, Pat Benatar, Madonna, David Bowie, even though he's a male. He did some pretty cool editorial shoots back in the day. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in with an IB 137 pointed liner by Crown Brush and just kind of get those edges kind of straightened out and do a little fill in here and there. And then I'm going to take this liner brush as well, and I'm going to go in, I'm going to do a quick color change with my color change. Where did it go? There it is. I have the Urban Studio brush cleaning pad, so it's just a color change. There's no water or anything with it. So these colors are all going on dry. And then I'm going to take the Violence from the Jeffree Star Beauty Killer palette, and I'm just going to go in and line underneath the eye here and bring that back up to meet this blue on this side. Kind of line under that just a little. And then again, just gonna line the base of that purple. Okay, so I've got the purple, I've got the teal, and I've got the blue, and that is all in there. Sephora Violet Fantasy, if it's not dried out, because I rarely use these. Looks like it might be okay. It's not really giving me the payoff that I want, so I'm going to line my other eye with it, and then I'm going to go back in with the Violence and that pencil brush and just use it. Kind of a place for that Violence to adhere to. And again with the Crown Brush pointed liner brush and into Violence. I'm gonna need a mirror for this one. That's a little better. All right, I'm not quite done with the Jeffree Star brush yet, or palette yet, but let's see here. I'm gonna take some of this extra off. Okay. And now it is time to move on to the blush and contour. So back in the 80s, they didn't do a whole lot of blush and contour. It was just really bright blush. So I'm gonna take Jeffree Star's Star Power, which is a really bright pink, which is kind of the color that they used back then, and just kind of start here where I would contour and just bring it up. And then bring it around to where they would bronze, or you would today. Really hope this doesn't stain my face. And then I'm going to take another one of my Eco Tools blush brushes and just kind of soften the edges a little. Especially up in this area. Okay, time to move on to this side. I'm gonna do this off camera. Be right back. Okay, now I'm gonna finish off the look with some lipsticks. I've got Jeffree Star Masochist, which I'm gonna put all over. And then right down the middle, I'm gonna take Drug Lord and put one little swipe. And then I'm gonna use Diamond right in that white stripe. I'm gonna let this dry down for just a second. They usually dry really fast. Moving it again because of the dots. Blue is a little lighter than I wanted, so I'm going to go in and deepen it up with I'm Royalty. Just going to take my finger So this is my 80s inspired look. And, ooh, let's do some lashes. I'm going to use my Huda Beauty Camille number 16 Easy Lash. These give me the exact flare I need. And drama. So I like the duo with the green to brush on. And I much prefer thick banded lashes. Let them dry down a little bit. Get tacky. Okay, now to apply the other one, which I'm going to do off camera. Okay, so now looking at this, I want to take that same pencil brush and grab out Jeffrey one more time and just go in to the eyebrows just a little, just to add a little color to them. Forgive them, they're beastie right now. Okay, and I am done. So this is the full look. Thank you for joining me for my very first video. I hope you liked what you saw. Leave me some love down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button.